Lovely winter's morning in the Highlands. As you can see, the sun's actually trying to make a bit of effort. We're out near the Lochlan, a little bit of breeze coming through. As you can see, the heather's got a little bit of a move on. The wind will pick up, I'm sure, as we're doing the review. And I'm doing another review on a Visio. Now, you're wondering why on earth is Tigger's RC Reviews doing another Visio, because I've done actually loads of these, and I put links down in descriptions to the others. I've always liked them, and they've got better and better with their design, and now they've brought out one with GPS as well. Comes with a nice sort of entry-level transmitter here. It's got the nice bulges on the back there to make it nice and comfy in your hands, and it takes 4 AA batteries, which it doesn't come with. A good phone grip as well, with the sort of extending one there, but that's really nice and solid. Look, that's not going to let go, because some of them, your phone drops on the floor, you've lost a, you know, you're not worried about the transmitter, you're more worried about how much damage you've done to your several £100 phone. So all working really good. Let's run through the actual drone first of all. Now, like I say, they've been developing these for a while. 1 or 2 back, they brought out the 1800 milliamp hour high voltage battery, so it's 3.85 on that, so it charges up to 4.35, and it's 1800 milliamp hour, so that gives us really good long flights. This actual pack comes with either 1, 2 or 3 batteries, and they've kindly sent me the one with 3 batteries, so I've got loads of flight time, which is really nice. So, and that just pops in the back there. You've got an on-off switch as well, which I've left on, so I'll turn that off now. So that's quite handy. You can transport it about with the battery in there, and the battery's firm enough to stay in, but it's not. But you can actually get it out as well. So some of the batteries, they seem to be locking them in really too tight, or others just slip out. So another nice little point. It's a folding drone, so it usually transport it around with the arms folded in like this. So its back one's in first, then the front ones, and it's not a bad size, and sort of fits in my hand pretty well. So you can fit it in a bag easy if you're going out for the day. It comes with a nice tiltable HD camera as well, and this is actually a camera module here. So if I just push these two here, well, you've basically got some sort of areas next to the antenna there that you can just give it a little bit of a shove. And as you notice, as I take it out, it's got a micro SD card slot there, so it records on board as well, which is really nice. The actual camera can be tilted slightly upwards, level or down. There's no click stops, it just sort of, you put it in a position and it's sort of friction held there, sort of thing. So that's really nice. So there'll be some other models out, I'm sure, with some bigger cameras in, or some different sort of setups, I'm sure. To get it back in, if you just shove it in, you can pop the card back out inside the actual unit, I found. So just push a little bit of pressure down and then slide it back in, and then you sort of know that it's not going to move that card. There you go. There we go. That was nice. I could actually prove it to you what it did there. So let me just show you that properly now. There we go. So there we go. So now I know the card's all working and everything, that's good. Like I say, it's GPS model as well. The props, everything is exactly the same as the other one, so they've just changed the little bodywork just a wee bit, I think. And the LEDs are usually not too bad on them. Transmitter is really quite nice and quite simple, and everything's marked up as well on it, which is really nice. We've got an orbiting mode, which is really nice, and I'll show you the functions on that. I've had a little look at that, and that seems quite awesome. That's up with the level of my sort of Typhoon H with the way it works and everything. If it works like that, it'll be absolutely brilliant. We've got 3 different speeds. Always starts in low speed, press it once, goes into intermediate, and then up into high speed, and then press it again. It's cyclical, so it comes around to the start again. Got an emergency stop button here. We've got headless mode here. I don't know anyone that uses headless mode. I'm sure there's people shouting at the screen going, yes, I do, that's really good. Not something that I'm usually play around with. I show it on the reviews, but it's not something I recommend you flying, but I'll show it to you as we get going. You've got a return to home, and because it's a GPS system, it actually knows where home is, so it really will ascend to a certain height, come back over, and then drop back down. And we've got our calibration for our GPS here. We've got our take stills and then start and stop the video here, and these ones are all trim buttons as well. Now it's mode 2, so that means if I push this, it pushes the throttle on, so it will ascend, pull it down, and it will descend. And the stick centers, that means it's altitude hold, so it will hold its altitude and also obviously hold its position when it's got GPS lock on. So push this to the right, it rotates to the right, push it to the left, it rotates to the left. That's called yawing. If we come over to the direction stick here, push this forward and the quad will go forward, and that's in relationship to the front of the quad. So if the quad's facing towards me and I push forward, it will come towards me. If I pull it backwards, it's back. Roll to the right and roll to the left. Forward and backward is called pitching. If you learn the techniques, when you're chatting to your other mates who fly, they'll know what you're talking about. When we move into headless mode, which I'll show you, whatever direction we've set it up in will be the head-in. So basically, even if the quad's at this angle, if we're in headless mode and I push forward, it's always forward away from me, back towards me, right and left. And all of these stick inputs are not points of the compass. Flying, I always think it's a nice sort of a feeling experience. So you're moving a little bit of this stick, a little bit of that stick, and things are turning around. It's a really nice, I just love the hobby, as you probably guessed. Okay, to bind the transmitter to the quad, you simply turn on the transmitter first of all. You turn on the quad, you get flashing LEDs. They're going quite fast. If I put it down, they then go into a slow pulse. There we go, hopefully you can see that down there. And then to bind it, you just simply go up and down on the throttle, and then it goes solid. And then you can see we've got solid LEDs, so we're all ready basically to go. But we haven't calibrated the GPS. So to calibrate the GPS, we simply press this button here. And then we get flashing LEDs, as you can see. We rotate it either to the right or the left. I had a little play with this and it didn't seem to make any difference actually. So just going to rotate that round so you can see the LEDs will change eventually. There we go, now we've gone on to just green ones. Oh, it's just spitting with rain as well. That'll be the Highlands for you. So, and then rotate it the other way. It'll probably be hail that will come with us. And there we go, we've gone solid again, which means the GPS is all calibrated. The quad will have set up a Wi-Fi hotspot, and what we're going to do is just log on with our phone. I've already had a little play around with this at home to make sure everything works, and it's automatically reconnected to that. If not, what you have to do is just go into your Wi-Fi settings, and then you'll get a variety of Wi-Fi. Not out here, you don't get Wi-Fi hotspots out here, I'm afraid. So it can't actually pick up anymore, but obviously if you're in town, you'll have a whole list of them, and you just pick the Wi-Fi 1080p GPS, and then it'll have a load of numbers behind it. Come back to your home screen, and then the actual app is called the XS812G-K one, so it's specific to this model. If I go into here, there's some great little videos in here and how to actually set it up, how to run things. It's got all the noisy things and everything, and the music and everything, but it actually runs through everything. They're really good for if you're new to flying, might actually be quite useful. I'm going to cover them all in the review, I hope, but they're there if you need them anyway. It tells you that it's picked up the star searching, which basically the satellites, I think it means, and then you press OK and you're away, and there's the Wi-Fi working for us. That does seem quite laggy. They usually are when it first starts, but I actually left this at home for a little while and it was still quite laggy actually. So I'm just going to tilt the camera angle down just a tiny bit. But yeah, no, it's definitely lag there. I have cleared my phone off, but it could be a phone issue as well. The FPV is really for lining up shots on this one, I'm pretty sure. So you've got all your information along the top here, and I'm going to show you through all the functions as well. So, okay, so let's actually get in the air. So to prime the motors, pull 2 sticks down and in. If you want to stop the motors, pull them down and out. If you want to calibrate the gyro on it, I probably won't be able to show you. Oh, you just about see the LEDs in there, I'm sure. You pull 2 sticks down and to the right and make sure it's on somewhere level, which it pretty is there, and that should be fine. So if you've had a crash or anything, or it just keeps drifting in one direction, that would be why. But with a GPS system, that shouldn't really happen actually. Now, an interesting thing with recording, it will record, because it's got a micro SD card in there, it will record them onto the micro SD. But if you start it on here, the files just come up not dated. If you start them on your camera, on your phone, sorry, they actually date them. So you actually have them in a nice order. Now I find that a lot better. So let's get up and away. So with GPS, it's going to hold position. There is a slight breeze. You can see she's just a little bit of an angle. If I turn it around, you'll see she's definitely pointing towards there, because that's where the wind's coming. It comes up over this ridge every time, basically. So for GPS, if I try and move it, it should try and come back. Yep, it's not very happy being moved. So it should come back to that exact position. It's almost like a biblical scene, that light, isn't it? Onto the lock-in as well. So that, yeah, GPS is working really well. Definitely a lag with that FPV. And the batteries dropped down suddenly as well. We were at 100% when we first started. So just gentle fly around. These are generally really nice little drones. I haven't managed to get out for a flight with this one yet, so this will be interesting to see exactly what it's like. It is actually really nice. Yeah, definitely a little bit laggy on there. You wouldn't be able to FPV it, but you would be able to line up a shot with it, sort of thing. So that's in low rate, so everything's cranked over there. You can see it's not doing anything too anxious. low rates, intermediate, and then in high rates. And even in high rates, it's no sports model. Yeah, definitely no sports model. GPS models, if you tend to let go, they tend to, whoa, stop really quick, because it's trying to then hold a position, because you're just giving it no stick input at all. So let me just show you that again. So if you just give that full pitch and then let go, it will rock back. If it wasn't a GPS model and you let go, they sort of drift a bit more, sort of thing. Probably can control it, so go a hard pitch and then just, no. Yeah, you have to be very delicate with that pitching if you want it to slow down really gently. That's quite normal with GPS models, I must admit. And LEDs are working really well today, absolutely superb. Yeah, so nice, we like. Oh, I was going to show you the thing with the, so I'm going to stop the video on here, and I'm just going to start the video on here. So it shows that a different icon comes up. It's still recording to the micro SD card. I hope it works at home like that, but it will give it a date, and like I say, I'll show you that when we get back home. So let me show you this orbiting thing, if I can get it to work. So you literally put it over the spot you want it to orbit. So I'm literally going to pop it over the top of my head, press the orbit button. Now you can set up all these things in here. So you can set up all your parameters and everything else, and you can change quite a lot. I'm keeping it at 480p, thinking that might give us better transmission, but let's try it at 720 as well. And you can alter the heights of the waypoints, and your maximum height of the waypoints as well. So you can change all this stuff as you go through. So I'm going to leave it all as standard at the moment. So orbiting, I'm going to press that one. It goes up a little bit, turns round. There's a little flyaway. And when it's finished, it should turn around and face me. Well, that's good. Yes, I'm nearly in centre, so that's pretty good sort of thing. And then to activate it, you can choose what way you want it to go round in the orbit mode, and you can choose its speed as well, which I really think is really kind of cool. So I'm just going to put it out gently that way. There we go. And that should more or less orbit me. I might not have had it totally over the top of my head actually, but you see that's a really nice slow orbit. That's really good. You can stop it or move it back the other way if you like. So you just simply do that the other way and it'll go back the other way. And then you can really sort of get a bit of a shift on with it. Crikey, we're doing Hollywood stuff now. Really cool. But look at this, I can actually change where it is as well. So I can actually make the orbit larger. I think that's really good. For this level of quad, I'm pretty impressed with that. I'm glad it's really working as well. I tested it at home. It's a bit difficult in the lounge. Yeah, really smart. So I really like that. That's really cool. And also you can alter the height as well. So you can literally alter everything and it will just keep orbiting around this spot. So let's see if it will work even when I bring it back in. That is pretty impressive actually. Just make sure I don't hit any trees. I've done that before here. Yeah, so that is actually quite cool. And like I say, you can slow it down as well, so you don't have to go so fast. That is very smart. And also you don't have to, and then to cancel it, sorry, you press the orbit button. You don't have to have it over yourself. You could just pick a tree or a house or a lochen or whatever you like. Pick the first point, it then flies out as you saw, it turns around, faces the point, and then you're away. So I really like that, nice little touch. So I'm going to stop that for a second. I'm going to do a selfie, I think. And like I love selfies. It's probably, yeah, you've got really contrasty sort of lighting environment here. So what I'll probably do is just quickly whip that round. We do it round this way. That's a fairer sort of thing for the actual camera. There we go. Yeah, fine. So that works pretty well. Not actually seeing anything come up, so we'll just do one on there as well, and that probably stores it the other way. Didn't test that when I was doing it. Let's try the follow me mode. So I'm just going to pop that on there as well, and that's got very fast flashing LEDs. Don't know if the camera's going to pick that up, and where am I going to go? Oh, actually quite a way. Yeah, I should have brought it in a bit closer to myself, but never mind. Oh no, it's following me there. That's doing pretty good. Yeah, that's cool. So I'm just going to cancel that for a second. I'll just bring it in really close now. I don't know how close it would actually pick me up. There we go, so we're on me again. Obviously, perhaps this is one of those things that you set in the with it in the waypoints and things. Possibly. If not, it's a pretty good distance to do it. I'm just trying to watch that tree as well while I go. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Oh no. It's starting to follow me, that's good, yeah. So it is on its way. I wonder what happens if I leg it back towards it. Me and legging it don't usually happen in the same in the same lifetime, as I think. Yep. So it is actually a distance from me, and that's where it's staying. So as I walk towards it, it's just going back out there. That works as well, that's cool. We've got waypoints on here as well. Oh, let me show you headless mode as well. So as I was showing you before, forward, backwards and everything else, just pop it on headless. I can't remember what way I bound it. Oh, there we go. So basically, left is left no matter what way the actual quad's facing. So if I have the quad facing towards me and press left, it's going to go left over there, right, forward and back, no matter what orientation the quad's in. So you can do spinning shots as well if you like. Something that I'm not really that bothered about, to be honest, with headless mode. There is a couple of applications, so I'm not going to bother going through them at the moment, to be honest. I'm getting cold. Oops. So we've got flashing LEDs, which means we're getting a beep 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 off the transmitter, which means it's running low on power. Now I don't know whether it's close enough to, oh there we go, brilliant. I've let go of everything and it's actually doing an automatic return to home because the battery's low. We're down to 14%, so it might not be able to actually do a full return, and I did run it away. Oops, turned around towards us. Oh, I should have started the video again, shouldn't I? Bit late now. There we go. And nice thing is they sent me the one with the 3 batteries, so I'm going to pop another battery in and I'll finish off showing you all the things with it. But this will show the return to home, which is pretty accurate. Now, a lot of guys want it to land. I can't even remember where I took off. Did I bind it there, I think, or there? There, I think. Now, a lot of guys want it to literally land here within sort of half a metre. I'm really not that bothered because it will now sit there for a while until it decides to descend. I'd much rather it just come back into view. I can see where it is. I can take control and then off we go. Are you coming down? Or do I have to tell it to come down myself? Oh, I might have to actually, because it's on just a return to home, isn't it? Not because it's a low battery warning. I don't know. It's just sitting there, I think. I'm just going to bring it down myself. With GPS, that should be its position anyway. I haven't moved this at all, so this would be as close as it was coming into land anyway. I don't know why it just stopped it. Oh my word, that is tight. That is spot on where it took off, seriously. Yeah, it really is. Yeah, sorry, the battery's that low. I gave it some throttle to kill it, or you press the return to home again to kill it. So, yeah. I was either there or there, I think, when I set it all up. So that is pretty accurate, I would say, very accurate. Right, I'm going to swap the battery over and then have another play with it. Show you how the waypoints works. So basically we come into this area here, we go into maps, and the maps work on this. I'm saying that if you know my review channel, you know I've done some for other ones and they don't come up. I don't really find a lot of point in this part of it, but I'll do it for the review. Quite happy to do that, no bother at all. So you pick the waypoints and you literally just go around wherever you want to go. You're ready to go, and all you have to do is commit to it. The height's already set in your settings, like I showed you before. It will go to your first point and then it will start tracking along. There we go. So it's going from where its initial position was there over to position 1, and then it will turn around and just go round That's the theory anyway. Like I say, not tested this out in the lounge at home, believe it or not. And then it should be off and away. Oh, you can alter the hover while you're doing it. That's quite cool. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so, oh, sorry, yes, I remember having to play with this indoors. So you can set waypoint 5 is going to go up higher. I just don't really get the sense of it. I mean, yeah, I suppose it's okay, but I'd rather just go and fly it and use the FPV a bit myself. But yeah, it's obviously the way it does it, sort of thing. There we go. I don't know whether interrupting it there has stopped it working. Oh no, there it goes. It's how long it stays at each point you set in your settings and everything. Yeah, like I say, not really my bag, I must admit. So I'm going to cancel out of that, trash that one. You can also do it on points as well. So you just literally put down individual points and it'll fly from one point to the other, sort of thing. And again, not really my scene, but I'll pop it in there for you. Yep. So there we go, it's all working. Like I say, really not of any interest to me, I'm ever so sorry. There doesn't appear to be a storage on here either, so if you set something up, you can't then redo it unless you don't do anything else with it, sort of thing. So again, not really seeing a lot of sense for that. So to come back onto your normal FPV screen, you just press that one, and if ever you want Google Maps again, you just press the Google Maps one and it'll come up with the Google Maps of where it is. So let's do a quick range test. Oh, it's still doing my that one there, is it? Oh yeah, I haven't turned it off, sorry. It was merrily still doing its own thing. Good for it. Okay, right. So bizarrely, it's got the green LEDs at the end of the, on the end of the arms at the front, but it's got red LEDs looking straight at you, which are actually brighter than the green, so it does look a little bit weird, sort of thing. So let's just see how we get on with range here. So we've got our altitude here and we've got our distance here. So at the moment we're 16 feet away. So I'm hoping it's going to go a little bit further than that. Let's see how far the FPV holds out for. We've got a good load of battery there as well. And I'm going into wind, always fly into wind. I'm going to pitch it, pop it up into high rates. So still holding 100, whoa, that is, I tell you what, that is holding all right. Look at that FPV, 200, nearly 300 feet. That is pretty impressive. Just going to give it a little bit of altitude. God, wow, that's 400 feet and that FPV is still working, guys. I kid you not. Whoa. Ah, it's just gone out now, I think. We're just on 500 feet. A little Wi-Fi and a little quad like that with no, you know, that's pretty impressive. No, it has actually locked up solid there, sort of thing. So that's fair enough. I'd actually just take it out a bit further, see what we do range-wise. Ah, it's stopped tracking it completely, so, well, we must be way over 600 feet now. Definitely. Whoa, yeah, if not, even further. There we go. Ah, so we're starting to get an alert that we're running out of where we are. There we go. Hey, it's just stopped. That's amazing. That is really good. So, I don't know the range, guys, but it must be way over 600 feet because I gave it loads of pitch after we'd gone through the 500. I'm going to press the return to home. And I can see it. It won't even be the size of a pixel on the camera, but it is just over there, just in there for you. And I can see it ascending, so it is actually taking it up, and it is going to pop back home now, which is rather nice. And the wind is really picking up now. This loch was mirrored when I first came here, and the wind is now, as you can see, with the heather and that all sort of blowing around a bit. Positioning on that thing has been excellent. I'm really impressed. We're back to, oh no, we haven't come back on yet. I'm hoping it'll come back on signal. Ooh. I've had this before, some of them you literally have to bring down and then reset them up. Way. Oh, that's a shame. Everything else is going so smooth. I don't know whether to refire the app up or not, really. Yeah, it hasn't come back on. Look at that. That's strange. Yeah, like I said, I'm just wondering whether to refire up that app, and it's literally back over the spot we took off from again. So, that is pretty impressive. So I'm going to stop that video, and I'm just going to go back to home, and then I'm just going to go back in there. I'm just going to press cancel the return to home. You just press that and it cancels. Yeah, it hasn't come back on. Look at that. Now, whether or not that's my phone, I don't know. There's probably other guys that have reviewed it, so I'm sure that there'll be some other one. There we go, and it's come back on now. So. Okay, so I've got the camera pointed down. Now, I haven't calibrated the GPS because I'm basically done. If anything happens to it, it's not the end of the world. I've got all my footage. Watch what happens here to the actual power on the battery, because it's given 78% there. Once you actually give it some throttle and put it up, it can drop right down. It's about a good 50% out, I would say, which is kind of weird, but just the way it is. So I'm just pointing it out. And the wind has really picked up now. I don't know whether you won't hear that on the L mic, but I'll flick on the head cam and the wind is really gusting up here quite a bit. So it'll be interesting to see what it actually does, whether or not I can actually fly it as well. But I didn't put the GPS on, and it's actually holding position. So yeah, well, see what I mean there? Look at that. But whoops, let me just kill that. There we go, see, back up to 69% and then it just drops right off. So to be honest, I wouldn't pay a lot of attention to this thing. I don't think that's a lot of good. Okay, so I've just bound this all up indoors, and as you can see, we've got flashing red LED. So I don't know whether or not when I come outside it might pick up the GPS signals. We will see. So I'm just going to see if I can fly it without the GPS on. That's my main thing. If I can, that means we can fly it indoors, and also if we can knock it off outside, I think it could be quite cool. Just a different flying experience. So let's just give it a go. This could return to home where it took off yesterday, which was a long way away. Oh no, yeah, it's drifting, you see. So yeah, it's definitely not got GPS. I'm going to let go of the sticks. There you go. So it's drifting away. So without doing the calibration, because I haven't pressed this button or done anything with it, it's actually flying non-GPS, so, which I think is pretty cool. I just thought I'd do a quick with the camera facing down, and I don't know if the calibration will come on eventually. Yeah, oh, the LEDs have stopped. Oh, it's locked on. There we go. It's completed its search, so I didn't have to calibrate. I'm almost wondering whether if I take it out into the field now and then do return to home, whether it will return to home where I flew it yesterday or not. So if I put it out there, I'll bring it right down actually, and I'll just see if it goes up at all, and then we can check where it's where now the return to home is. So we're going up, we're turning around. So I'm sort of questioning why I need to calibrate this then, because it's literally just sort of coming back home, isn't it, more or less, sort of thing. I took off from there, but that's where it got position, of course. That's where it locked on to the GPS. So. Okay, so what did I think of it? Well, before we go into that, on top left-hand side, there's going to be another range test, and I got over 600 feet with it. It does look up at about 500 odd feet, you'll see, and then when it got up to about 640, I think it managed, it actually was back on, it was working, and it actually worked all the way back when I pressed the return to home, which was good. Up above me is going to be me just playing in the garden around the TV aerial, just using that as a center point and then getting it to do orbit, and I really do like the orbit on this. The orbit is impressive on this. It really is nice, and all the adjustments you can do when it's actually orbiting as well was really good. And then over here is just full footage off the micro SD card, and then at the very end I'll run some full screen 1080p off the micro SD card, so you can have a look at that as well. Transmitter was quite impressive, works pretty well, does exactly what it's supposed to do, and I do like the fact that when you press anything you get a beep, and then you know something's activated, you know you've actually pressed it to work, and it worked really well. You just simply pop the clip out of the back if you want to put on their phone adapter, and actually the phone adapter held it really nicely. It was quite a good system, that one. I had no worry about it actually dropping the phone, which I've had on other models. Let's run through some other spares you get. You get a full set of spare props, and the props are pretty flexible, so they shouldn't do any damage, and if the motors are spinning and something touches them, the motor will stop, so you can use, I could actually put my finger finger on it and it would actually stop it. That's quite normal with this sort of style of quad. You get a little Phillips screwdriver with it as well. I got the one with the 3 battery packs. I highly recommend you get this. And to charge them, use a micro USB little adapter goes into there, cable, sorry, and then on the other end it's just normal USB. Now, nice thing about this is you can charge up in your laptop, in your car, or I tend to use power banks when I'm out and about, because you can just stick it in your rucksack and you can be charging up as you're walking along, which is nice. You get a little red LED when it's actually charging, and then when it's fully charged the LED will just go off, so it just goes like that. It does take about 3 hours to charge because they are 1800 milliamp hour batteries, but with the 3 of them, of course, you're covered. Flight time, I was getting just about 10.5 minutes consistently from it, but do be careful when it gets low and it just suddenly drops the power. It will just drop out of the sky. It hasn't got enough power to come back home if you've fought it past the sort of return to home when it does that automatically. So just be a little bit aware of that. I would put a little beeper on your phone at 9 minutes to let you know, and then you know you've got a good minute to get back and you can just come back and land it. So they're pretty good. I'm quite impressed with those, and that gives you 30 minutes of flight, so that's really impressive, I think. And the fact you can be charging up on the go. Now, you can fly indoors, so the GPS just won't come on. Certainly in my house it wouldn't, but you might well pick up a GPS signal, so just be aware of that. And if you're going to fly indoors, I definitely recommend you use the prop guards. You get 4 of them, and they're really quite a nice little design. You just pop out a little clip in there, pop that in, and then that's it, done. And you're not even going to hit your ceiling with these then. These are going to hit the ceiling first, and you've got a little bit of spring there as well. So and just simply push the little catch down and release. They're quite good, actually. The actual quad itself I thought was good. I mean, I've had several of these and they really do work well. With the GPS it worked extremely well. The GPS was really good, and as I showed, you don't have to calibrate it every time, which it sort of gives the impression you do in the instructions, which is quite normal. But sometimes if you're not in a brilliant signal area or you're in between buildings and you try and recalibrate, it could be a problem. Where it's what I do with my sort of Typhoon H. I just fly it until I notice that it does something called toilet bowling, and you literally get it doing these sort of looping directions, like toilet water running down a toilet bowl. That's why it's called toilet bowling. If it starts to do that, then I calibrate it. Apart from that, I don't calibrate it. I don't see any sense in wasting the time, to be perfectly honest. Onto the camera itself. Now, I thought the camera looked really nice. I like this module. I like the way it moves and it stays in position where you put it. And the lens looks really nice on it. I was a bit disappointed with the quality of the footage, but only you can decide whether the footage is up to what you want. I think it could have been better for 1080p, certainly. I don't know if it's been pulled up to 1080p or what, but it is what it is, and I show it as it is. And to me, it doesn't seem like a good quality 1080p, to be perfectly honest. But then again, you're getting all this package with all these batteries and everything. They've got to save the money somewhere. I just thought they hadn't when I actually saw the lens. So whether or not they're upgraded, I don't know. There's a possibility there, isn't there? The videos themselves on the micro SD card records at about 1 minute 40 seconds, then it starts another video automatically. So that's pretty good, because then if you happen to turn it off or anything, or you have an incident and the power goes off for any particular reason, you're only possibly lose your last little bit of video. Where some of them, if you're recording for 6 minutes and then you lose it, you've literally lost the whole lot. So I quite like that. And the files are around about 100 megabyte in size. So there we go. I was pretty impressed with it. I thought the GPS worked really well. I like the fact you could just get out there and fly it, and I quite enjoyed flying it when I foxed it that it couldn't pick up the GPS in the garden. It was actually quite nice again. So I do hope you've enjoyed that one, and I look forward to seeing you on the next.